I'm Gary Shirk with Coldwell Banker La Costa Realty here in beautiful Puerto Vallarta. I love living in this town, and I love sharing things I've learned as an expat who moved and settled here. The real estate market for vacation home buyers and investors is incredible. And if you're a buyer interested in tapping into this market, the opportunities have never been better. In this video, I'll be reviewing the major steps that you'll encounter from making your offer through closing and receiving the keys to your new home here in paradise. All in all, I think you're going to find that the buying process here isn't too different from what you're used to in your home country. So with that, let's go ahead and take a look at the video. In this video, we're going to take a look at buying a home with Coldwell Banker in Puerto Vallarta. Based on your input and with your guidance, your realtor has identified a number of properties that meet your buying criteria. Once you've had the opportunity to view the properties, and once you've selected the home that you want to buy, it's now time to submit the offer and start the offer process. Before going into too much detail, let's first take a look here at the major steps that make up the offer process. Later in this video, we'll dive a bit deeper into each one, but for now, here's the summary. First, your agent will write up the offer to purchase agreement that will need to be presented to the seller. Once the offer is mutually accepted, there will be a period of due diligence where you'll have the opportunity to review documents associated with the property, and especially important, a review of the results of an inspection of the property. After a successful due diligence period, the parties will meet on the closing date where they will sign the deed. At that point, the seller will receive payment and you, the buyer, will receive the keys to the property. Now that we've looked at the summary of the steps in the offer process, let's look in more detail at the first step, the offer to purchase agreement. So in this first step, your realtor is going to write and provide to you the offer to purchase agreement for your review and acceptance. Also at that time, he or she will provide a good faith estimate of the closing costs required to purchase the property. A rough estimate of closing costs for properties here in Puerto Vallarta is about 6.5% of the sale price. Your realtor will also be working to set up a third-party escrow account where payments can be securely transferred and held during the purchasing process. Once you've accepted, the agreement will be provided to the seller for their review and acceptance. Note that there could be a period of negotiation on terms and price here before finalizing the agreement. Finally, once accepted by all parties, you will have some number of days specified in the agreement by which you'll need to wire transfer a down payment to the third-party escrow account. The down payment amount will be 10% of the property sale price. So we've now covered in more detail the offer to purchase agreement. Next, let's take a look at the second step in the offer process, the due diligence period. In the due diligence period, you'll have the opportunity to review all pertinent documents associated with the property. Additionally, this is a time when a thorough inspection will be completed. Let's go ahead and take a look at the major activities during this time. If you're buying a condo or any other property that has a homeowners association or HOA, then you'll be receiving documents related to the HOA rules and regulations, dues, budget, and meeting minutes. You'll also be able to review the property's public deed, and as mentioned earlier, a thorough property inspection will be conducted for your review and approval. Finally, the seller will provide you with an inventory list showing all items in and on the property that will be transferred with the sale. As you can see, the due diligence period is very important in that it ensures there are no surprises as the transaction progresses to closing. Although there's a lot of activity during this time, your realtor will be in close contact with you, providing the documents for review, getting back to the seller with any questions you have, and overseeing the inspection and overall process. And in fact, all of this can be done even if you aren't able to be present here in Puerto Vallarta during this time period. Okay, so now that we've covered the offer to purchase agreement and due diligence period, Let's take a look at the final two steps in the offer process: closing and release of payment and keys. Before discussing closing day activities, it's important to look at some of the key events within the weeks and days leading up to that date. During this time, you'll be wire transferring the remaining balance of the sales price of the property into the escrow account, as well as paying your closing costs. Also, about 3 days prior to closing, you'll do a final walkthrough to ensure the property is ready for transfer per the offer agreement. On the day of closing, you or your authorized representative and the seller will meet with the notario publico assigned to the transaction. The notario is an official appointed by the Mexican state who is legally responsible for making sure the deed title is clear of any liens and gets properly recorded at the public registry. Once you and the seller sign the deed in the presence of the notario, he or she will authorize payment to the seller and release the keys to you. And with that, congratulations, you are the new owner of a home in Puerto Vallarta. Welcome back, amigos. Thank you for watching the video. I hope it answered any questions you had on what to expect when buying property here in Puerto Vallarta. Again, I'm Gary Shirk with Coldwell Banker La Costa Realty. If you have any other questions about the buying process, or if you'd like to get going on finding your dream vacation home or investment property here in Puerto Vallarta, my contact information is below, and I would love to hear from you. Gracias y hasta luego, amigos. Sorry? Oh, I can read the writing, I just can't get the words out.
Oh, just relax.
Okay.
There's only two of us